Don't believe the narrative of no one is going to believe you. Don't believe that. You are valid. And the reason that all of this harassment goes unreported is because you have a group of people telling you that you're nothing for a really, really long time. And there is a point where you are going to believe this, but look, they're lying. Dealing with gang stalking harassment at a workplace is one of the most difficult things to deal with. You really can't prove anything is what is told to you relentlessly by these gang stalkers. However, that's not true. As you guys know, I have made a couple of new friends. And since I began to raise my standards in regards to friendships, I have suddenly come across really, really amazing people. One of my new friends is a lawyer who actually specializes in labor or work related cases. I was talking to him about it, and he said that creating a hostile environment is only possible to prove if you have called HR. That's where most of the evidence is created. If any of you guys are harassed at work, you want to make sure to call HR. And you know, it's really difficult to to make yourself valid. Look, when I was targeted at the O'Reilly Auto Parts in Imperial Beach, I thought about calling HR, but I thought to myself, no one is gonna believe me. I played in my mind me calling HR, and I thought it would sound stupid. Yeah, because what am I gonna say? Oh, my coworkers are coughing right next to me every time they walk by me. But I was overlooking the things that I could have said. For example, when everyone, including Berenice Rivero at the O'Reilly Auto Parts in Imperial Beach, including Oscar Ledesma, including Maximas, when all of them would move to the back of the store only to peek to the sales floor, how I was slammed by a line of customers and I was the only one in the front, and I ended up shaking, and they were laughing, dude. I heard them. And look, these are the things that I should have called HR for, but I didn't because I didn't feel like anyone would believe me. But the truth is that the things that I was harassed with are common in hostile work environment cases. But you have to communicate with HR because that's the only way that you're able to create proof. You have to give the company an opportunity to help you. And if the company doesn't do anything, then that's when you contact a lawyer. During gang stalking, my self-esteem was to the floor. The reason that I shaved my head was because I didn't feel like I had the energy to look good. I didn't have the energy to put on moisturizer, to do my hair. I didn't even sometimes have the energy to shower. But that was because my self-esteem was to the floor. My self-esteem was so low that I didn't even care how I looked on my videos, but I was still posting them because I wanted to tell a story. However, my self-esteem was simply to the floor. Now I'm doing fine. As my mind clears up, I feel better. But you cannot allow your self-esteem to affect your perceptions. The reason that I didn't have the courage enough to voice what I was going through at that point in time was because I didn't feel confident in my own testimony. I didn't feel confident in my own testimony because what I was living was so surreal. So you have to understand this. If you happen to be harassed at work, please understand that the whole company is not in on it. The company has policies for these types of problems, and you can make a lot of money. You don't have to get a lawyer immediately. You don't have to get a private detective immediately. You go first to the company's internal human resources. And then if they don't fix it, then you get a lawyer. But you have to create evidence. That is also one of the hardest things about gang stalking is that the evidence is simply a lot of times it's just your words, you know, and you feel that your words are worth nothing because you have been harassed for so long that you're and mistreated. that your sense of self-worth, the value that you put in your own words, feels like it's meaningless. You simply just feel like everyone has this right to harass you and you can't do anything about it. But look, you can do something about this harassment. You can. If you happen to be gang stalked, just honestly stop doing things that make you feel like you're less. Be it consuming substances, be it hanging out with losers, be it doing things that can be embarrassing. Stay away from anyone that tries to inculcate into you any type of ill behavior, anything that can put you in danger. But please understand that you can do something about gang stalking. You really can. And I wish I knew this, when I was going through it. But my role is never the role that you want, or hardly ever. My role in this generation is to help people that could probably end up worse than I did. I honestly feel that all of the stuff that I went through when I was younger prepared me for the past 8 years, for the gang stalking, so that I would make it and then I would have all the information to give you guys. So just know that if you are a targeted individual and you are being harassed at work, call HR and do nothing that can potentially jeopardize your credibility. Stay away from people that push any type of bad habits, anyone who even mentions it, anyone who tries to steer you, or anyone who tries to steer your mind into thinking anything that can lead you to take actions that will work against you. Don't believe the narrative of no one is going to believe you. Don't believe that. You are valid. And the reason that all of this harassment goes unreported is because you have a group of people telling you that you're nothing for a really, really long time. And there is a point where you are going to believe this, but look, they're lying. Even the whole thing about coughing right next to you, report that even, because that is harassment. That is harassment, and HR will believe you. The whole thing about the underhanded comments, the whole thing about creating an environment that gives you a lot of pressure, that how do you say, that gives you anxiety. All of that, you have to report it. Report everything. Report it to HR. Even the whole thing with a with the coughing and with a sneezing really loudly right next to you, that you have to keep reporting. You have to report it. When your coworkers are even ostracizing you, that is a toxic work environment. That is a hostile work environment. And you have to actively be in contact with HR. If anyone is trying to make you feel less at work, directly, indirectly, you have to report it immediately. And look, if your boss is in on it, like in my case, Bernice Rivero was in on it, and she was perpetuating this type of hostile work environment, there are people above her. There are people above her. There is HR, dude. And please, man, understand this. Gang stalking is not this invincible thing. It's not. It's not. Gang stalkers want you to believe it is, but it's not. You have to use society's rules, man, to get yourself out of that situation. I wish I had known this information. I wish I had known it when I was dealing with it, but right now, YouTube is working for me. And, God forbid I have to get a job where I have to deal with people anytime in the future. I'm already going to know this really well. And you bet your pretty little butt, the first thing I'm going to do is call HR. Boop. Hell yeah. So please understand this. Any intent at demoralization that is indirect, even if it's indirect, report it to HR. Report it to HR, even if it's an email, report everything. Because if they do nothing, then you can get a lawyer and then you can make money off of it. Okay? If you don't know who I am your host, Efren Rodriguez Guerrero. I have been targeted for 8 years. Through those 8 years, I developed a system of strategies that are literally what are keeping me safe from gang stalking. If you go into my previous videos, you would see that I was living in my car, I was homeless, I was gang stalked at the O'Reilly Auto Parts in Imperial Beach by all my coworkers. I was destroyed, dude. I heard voices. I was being sabotaged. I believed that directed energy weapons were real. I went through the whole thing, everything. But I simply understood enough of it so that I would come back to my senses. And now I am telling you guys all about it with the intention of empowering individuals that are going through similar experiences that I went through. Gang stalking literally almost drove me crazy. It really did. It did for a little bit. And it was such an awful experience that I don't want anyone to live through it, anyone else. If you would like to support my mission, please consider subscribing to the channel, dropping a like, dropping a comment, or you can share this video on your social media. If you would like to go above and beyond, say, in regards to supporting the channel, please consider becoming a member. Only $4.99 a month, or you can make a donation to my PayPal in the description of the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.